Tim Hortons. We don't even need to go down the rabbit hole because they absolutely shit their diaper when Dunkin' Donuts announced they're going to be opening up 700 stores next year in 2027 in Canada, and they'll be prioritizing Canadian workers. And no, I'm not talking about the diaper on the employee's head. I'm talking about the diaper under their drawers. They shit a brick with the shareholders because they're getting exposed. Yep. If most Canadians actually understood what is going on in the country and what is actually happening with your tax dollars, what is actually happening to drive things in the third world, and what the politicians are actually doing, I think there would actually be a revolution tomorrow. Will it happen? I don't know. I'd love to see it. I'd love to be a part of it. I'd love a trucker convoy 2.0 on a more extreme level to actually bring back the Canadian dream, because it's completely out of reach and it's not happening for many people. But point being is that Tim Hortons shit their pants because they know Dunkin' Donuts is going right for the throat. They're hiring Canadian workers. Canadians, or at least on our side of the spectrum, want to see that. We don't want to see the third world working there anymore. And even though the revenue has completely fallen off a cliff for Tim Hortons, they have tried to bring back the retro cups, the retro menu, the retro donuts. You know what? I haven't seen the retro employees. I miss the days. Well, I remember, and let me know in the comment section if you remember this. I was 8, 9, maybe 10 years old. My mom would take me to Tim Hortons first thing in the morning. Obviously, we now know it's absolute cancer food. But at 9 years old, you don't know. And good memories. You go in there. Anybody ever remember a strawberry vanilla donut? You get like vanilla, is it frosting, the cancer syrup on top, and then strawberry jelly, more strawberry cancer syrup inside, on a white fluffy yeast donut. Those are fire. Or the old breakfast sandwiches, the old sausage, egg, and sleaze on a toasted biscuit. Those biscuits are pretty fire. And getting served it by an old white lady or a young white teenager in high school, maybe in university, in the colleges or whatnot. And now that does not exist. And I think one thing that this high unemployment rate, we got a 7%, just shy of 7% unemployment overall, and I think it's around 15% as of recording for youth unemployment. But one thing that it doesn't keep into consideration is people that are fatigued trying to search for jobs, right? If you're looking for a job, and you get no responses because your last name isn't Singh and you're not going to get the corporation 50% off their labor because the government will subsidize the other half, which is just you paying for it through your taxes, then you're not going to get a call. You just stop looking for a job, right? Most men are checking out. Most people are checking out. You go to university, you spend, what, $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 on some beautiful piece of paper, framed in mahogany, PhD, and you end up working at Starbucks making my drinks. Right? This is the reality for most people. And I would say over the last year and a bit, I've been very intrigued by the women that I've dated because I've talked about this before. If you want to have kids, you got to date younger. You got to go 25 and under, 26 and up. No, sir. Waiter, check, please. The eggs are scrambled. They're too hardened. It's just the juice ain't worth the squeeze, and they are too old to mold. And so keep in mind, most of the women that I date are anywhere from 5 to 10 years younger than I am. And I asked them, in your neck of the woods, how are people doing financially? Most people are living off credit cards. They are in massive debt. They have more debt than they have income. Majority of them live at home, men and women. Most of them live at home because you can't afford to move out, right? Even I'm feeling the squeeze. You know, I would consider myself somebody who does fairly well. Well, maybe not fairly well. I do well. I do fine enough, right? I stay afloat. Bills are paid. I live a good life. I'm happy. I'm fulfilled. I don't really have too many complaints. I buy myself some nice, sparkling water, good steaks. That's about it. Get the clothes that I need. That's about it. I don't really buy a whole lot of other stuff. But then I think about the younger generation, men specifically, that are 5, 10 years younger than me. Man, how hard is that going to be to get a start? How hard is that going to be to get ahead, to get any financial, momentum going? That is my alarm. My apologies. We're going to finish this up real quick here, people. My alarm to do this video. But this is the future, right? People are not doing well. And I think a big red pill, I've said it before and I'll say it again, the big red pill, most Canadians are genuinely mentally retarded. An even bigger red pill is there's a lot of them that are genuinely happy. They're content. They like this. They like being replaced by the third world. They love the corporations absolutely taking all their purchasing power away by turning the money printer on. This debt Ponzi scheme, fractional reserve banking, if you don't know, go search it up. Jekyll Island, 1913, you'll learn all about it. Everything that is happening in the world is an attempt to expand the money supply. The scamdemic of 2020, let's expand the money supply. We have this pretend flu. Oh my God, grandma might die. Oh my God, 98-year-olds die. Oh geez, wow, they might die from the flu. Maybe 98-year-olds just die. God forbid. And so everybody's got to stay home. Let's turn the money printer on. Give everybody $2,000. Boom, 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 boom. Turn the money printer. All crazy. Trillions of dollars. Well, not trillions, but $8 trillion worth of new money into the system. I believe it's 1.4, $1.5 trillion into the system since the scamdemic. And people say, well, you need to help everybody out. You got to help the economy. Well, guess what? You give people the money, and eventually it makes its way back to the big chains. People spend it on Amazon, right? In Vancouver, the Dior, Gucci, Louis Vuitton stores, there was lineups down the street. They couldn't wait to spend their CERB check on some new luxury items. So the corporations are winning from this. And then the money goes into the system, and the inflation hits 2, 3, 4 years later, the crazy inflation of 22 and 23. And for those that don't realize right now, this Iran war that good old Uncle Donnie down in the States, and by the way, I dislike Uncle, I gotta call him Uncle Donnie. I dislike President Trump for significantly different reasons than most people do. But that war is going to cause so much inflation. I don't think people actually realize how cooked you're going to get if you don't have assets, right? Like, I've been getting a good little kick in the nards from Bitcoin the last little bit. Gold's taking a little bit of haircut, but I do believe that having your money in the assets that are going to get a nice boost from this inflation is going to be critical. I'm skeptical of this AI bubble with all these IPOs. But anyway, to bring things back to the point of the video, vote with your wallet. It's the only vote that matters, right? Don't give your money to Tim Hortons. You should not ever find yourself in the Tim Hortons drive-thru or walking into those stores. Hell, if you want, go into the bathroom and use their plumbing, use their hydro, use their electricity, but do not buy anything. You want to go steal salt and pepper packets? I don't care. But do not contribute to them, because the shareholders will get the message. People are not buying our shit. When the government has subsidized half the wages, you have to tank the revenue over half for them to actually get the message. And if they went out of business, which I really hope that Tim Hortons does, I don't want to see another Tim Hortons open up ever in this country. It will send a message to the rest of the corporations. We as a country are not going to be messed with. We love our country. We want families to be formed. We don't want to be poor. We're not okay with homelessness. We're not okay with the alphabet soup degeneracy. We are not okay with, since the year 2000, 8.1 million new Canadian babies have been born, but 3.3 million babies have been headshotted by their mothers. Yes, 8.1 million new babies since the year 2000, and 3.3 million abortions. This is insane. We live in the most insane times, full of degeneracy.